We think the responsible thing to do is to harvest and use the ambient energy that's right at our own homes and businesses, literally in our own backyards. With the power to choose, you can create healthy, non-lethal power that will provide lighting and services that will keep us safe, secure, communicating, and independent. Here at our demonstration home in suburban Atlanta, it all begins, well, up on the roof. Now you can choose whatever energy source or sources are most appropriate for your location, but here we chose solar panels. They're installed according to NEC Class 1 electrical standards, which keeps all of our local inspectors happy. Let's go inside. The output from the solar array comes down through the roof and into this cabinet. It's the metal flex conduit in the back entering that breaker box. Once it's reached the box, the system becomes a Class 2 installation, which simplifies and lightens our wiring requirements throughout the rest of the house. Class 2 is the same code set used by the phone company to install its low-voltage, non-lethal power and communication system. Power2Choose system is very similar. All right, from the terminal box, the power goes straight to the charge control unit and storage batteries. Let's go over there. Now, we've stowed the batteries on an unused shelf in the utilities closet. Oh, watch this. Occupancy sensors. We've installed these in several places where it's appropriate. Places that we will always want lit when we enter and always want dark when we leave. Think of the amount of energy that can be saved in the United States if people would simply turn off the lights when they leave a room. If you've got adolescent kids at home, you know exactly what I'm talking about. All right, here's the Morningstar 45 amp MPPT charge controller, which makes sure that the charge sent to the batteries is always the optimal amperage and voltage for maximizing battery life. And yes, in case you're wondering, if the sunshine isn't cooperating for extended periods of time, the system will switch over and charge from the grid if necessary. But it'll do it at night when demand and prices are probably lower. And up here is the battery case. Now, inside are 400 amp hour AGM deep cycle batteries. They require no maintenance, there's no electrolyte to spill, and they emit virtually no gases. This makes them ideal for interior applications like this. Safe, secure, no hassle. Okay, now that the power's stored, let's go to the main panel. And no, not this one. This is the legacy power for panel coming in from the grid. Slip with a screwdriver around this thing, and if you live through it, you'll find that it is a hair-raising, tool-melting experience. That's why it has to be Class 1. Our Power2Choose panel, on the other hand, is non-lethal DC. We've mounted this out here for demonstration and display purposes, but it does the same job as the big AC panel in the closet. Now, these are all breakers for the various circuits throughout the house. An unexpected overload is stopped right here without threatening damage to any other equipment that may be in the system. From here, power is distributed to switches, light fixtures, and wall outlets. Now let's talk about the fun part, what this system can do. Let's start with the lights. For over 100 years, we've been turning on little heaters like this to create electric light. Now mechanically, they work pretty much like the burners on an old-fashioned electric cooktop. The wire heats up due to electrical resistance. These just happen to burn almost white, and the cooktop burners glow a nice deep red orange. Now, either way, you're going to use almost 4 times as much electricity, air conditioning all of that heat out of the house. CFLs and hardware store LED bulbs are a big improvement, but even with these, that 110 volt alternating current from the grid has to be converted to low voltage DC or high voltage at each and every socket. That means going through yet another transformer and generating more waste heat. With the Power2Choose, we're already at low voltage DC. Waste is minimized. Through a concept we call free light at your fingertips, we have an array of cutting-edge LED lighting devices that pretty much replace any grid-based residential light. They use very few watts, generate very little heat. Now, cost is also minimized because each of these lighting devices is good for many tens of thousands of hours of operation. You'll probably never need to replace them. The last lights that you will ever buy. And how do they look? Well, under the kitchen cabinets, they put the light where you want it. Bright to work by, or dim to give a nice, soft, warm glow. I can use a touchpad or even a handheld remote control. With our system, we can provide sophisticated home automation at a fraction of the cost of many current systems. Over in the dining area, ceiling lights work exactly the same way over the dinner table. A couple of keystrokes, you set the mood. From the easy chair, I can adjust the background lights and operate the TV and the whole house sound system. The picture you see is powered 100% by the Power2Choose. When a storm hits and grid power goes out, you're kept safe and secure with both communications and entertainment. And if that storm never hits, you're still electrically independent and saving money. All we're spending here is sunshine. Come with me down the hall. Overhead lights in the ceiling, dimmable night lights in the floor. In the bedroom, more free light at your fingertips, including a fun little globe that glows in over 16 million colors. And the television, again, powered by the Power2Choose. The only wires going into it are the antenna cable and our low voltage DC. The 110 volt socket is completely empty. Now, normally that socket would have a transformer block or a wall wart plugged into it. It would be generating waste heat whether you're watching the TV or not. You'd be using grid power, warts and all, so to speak. With the Power2Choose, think of us as wart removers, quietly working in the background to cure your electrical energy ills. You get independence, safety, security, and efficiency, and no more ugly warts. Okay, let's move on to one of the 2 home offices in this house. Here you see a comfortable work area with ceiling fan, plenty of ambient light, lots of directed work light, and all of the technology you need. And it's all running on the Power2Choose. A big energy saving is achieved by switching from a desktop or tower-style computer to a laptop or an all-in-one, something a lot of people have done already. Now, today's laptops are both very powerful and energy efficient, operating usually on a mere 65 watts. Compare that to this legacy system that's still stored underneath the desk. Not only does this take up a lot of room and generate a lot of heat, which you're going to have to air condition away, it has a 450 watt power supply. Now, virtually all microprocessor-based devices operate internally on low voltage DC. So this power supply takes in AC grid power and converts it to low voltage DC so that the computer can operate. Now, the laptop that replaced this operates directly with the Power2Choose. Now, add to this, the computer is plugged into an uninterruptible power supply. This very necessary device stabilizes and cleans up the electricity that comes from the wall socket so that the computing equipment is kept safe from power surges and the business here can stay up and running during power outages. So, the bottom line is that this UPS uses 550 watts to convert the grid current to DC so that it can charge the internal battery, filter the current, which it then converts back to AC so that it can feed the 450 watt power supply in the computer that turns it all back into DC. Again, that's the kind of insanity we're trying to replace. In a time of decreasing home values, the Power2Choose is designed as a built-in investment for those far-sighted enough to realize the difference between automatically paying high utility bills versus banking that money by owning a resource that we must have every day. So think about it. If you want to take a positive, environmentally conscious step towards smart energy management, if you want to take personal responsibility for your carbon footprint and reduce your energy consumption, if you value energy independence and personal security, then the Power2Choose is the power for you.